running through my mind all day, waiting for her show to play. Turn your radio on, she's gonna play your favorite song.
Hi, everyone. This is Brandi Richard Thompson, and this is the Operation Growth Show, where we help you to grow through all the things that you go through. And I am thrilled today to have someone with us who is very dear to my heart. Mai is just a wonderful human being, but also a founder and CEO of her own nonprofit that helps women in Sudan to achieve their best selves, to be all that they can possibly be. And I just want to share a little bit with you about Mai. Mai graduated with a BSc in pharmacology. Since graduating, she has worked as a PR and marketing professional and as a conference manager for life sciences events in London. During her time in these companies, she found that her true passion was in making a positive impact to the health of individuals, and thus pursued a master's in public health and has experience in that sector. She was raised in London, but she endeavors to assist in the development of her home country, Sudan. And so I am so happy to chat with Mai today and share with you a little bit more about her work. So let's get her on.
Hi, Brandi.
Hi, Mai. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad to be here with you.
So I gave a little bit of an overview of your background, but what is it that you would like for people to know about you off top?
Well, I'm the founder of Sudaniya Mentoring, which is a mentoring program that empowers young Sudanese women. We've been running since 2013, and we are working really hard to develop these incredible women in Sudan to really become their best selves and really unlock their potential. My background is also in public health, and I'm a public health professional, so that's a bit about me.
Awesome. Awesome. So we are going to jump right into this wonderful growth conversation with you today. And the first question that I have for you is, what inspired you to start mentoring women in Sudan?
So really, it was just through growing up in the UK. I've always wanted to give back to Sudan in some way, and I didn't quite know how I could do that. So I graduated in pharmacology, and then I tried different things. I wanted to kind of branch out of the science field. So I worked as PR marketing for a food and drinks agency. I then worked in a life science events company as a conference manager, and I quickly realized that the profit world was really not for me. I really wanted to work and help people. So I then decided to move to Sudan for a year in 2012, and I wanted to pursue a career in public health. So I made some friends, I got to know the country a bit more, I got to kind of get back to my roots, and I also had some experiences working in various kind of ministries and various sectors in public health. And I made a friend, so I volunteered for this charity called Miracle Sudan Riding Center, which is a charity that helps disabled children. So I made a friend there who recommended me and told me about this leadership program called the MILEAD program, which is run by Moremi Initiative. And it was really through that program that it connects 28 outstanding women from across Africa, and as a way to give back to their countries. And I was a part of that in 2013. And the idea kind of came about through brainstorming with the other women on the program, and the idea of helping women, empowering women was really something close to my heart, and it was just something that was kicked off from there.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, I know you to be a very masterful networker. And in some of what you just shared, you talked about how you were able to leverage relationships and friendships in order to move from industry to industry and really start thinking about what your next move was. And so I'd like for you to share with us a little bit about that networking and how you've been able to use it not only with your organization, but in other spaces in your life.
Well, yes, I think networking is really key to anything. So it was just always something that I just quickly realized that you kind of need to do in order to move on. And I guess I was actually at a networking event yesterday. So I was also just talking to people, getting to know them. And I think with regards to anything, it's all about really connecting with people, getting to know them. Even on the Women Leaders of the World Fellowship that I'm a part of, I've made some great friends, and connecting with them has really brought things together. So, yeah.
It seems like the foundation of it, though, is just your genuine curiosity about people and your genuine care for people. Would you say that's accurate, or is there more to it than that?
Yeah, that's true. I think for me, I'm always interested in getting to know people from different backgrounds and sharing experiences. And I think that's also what kind of brought me to Sudan, because I was away for such a long time, having grown up in the UK, and going over there to a place that I really haven't been exposed to, and being able to network, to speak more Arabic and really get to know people a bit more. I think that really opened things up for me, and I was able to network and connect with so many different people.
Nice, nice. So, when your home is someplace that you haven't spent a lot of time in, like what is it like for you to go back to Sudan and learn and navigate this culture that is so much a part of you, but maybe something that you're also learning?
It was really tough, I think, the first time when I went back in 2012, because I literally had no experience of going over there. And I think it was challenging in that regard, that over here in the UK, I'm so used to things being kind of fixed, and the routine of things, the daily life. And going back was really was tricky. But I do feel like I've learned so much from the people, from my experiences, and especially now with the various challenges in Sudan, it is getting much more difficult for people. But I do think that something that brings everyone together is that the fact that they do have hope that things will get better, and there is this kind of like solidarity that people in Sudan have with each other, which is nice.
Nice. So, from there, like when you go there and you work with women and people within the community and understand their challenges, what is it that we need to know about Sudan?
Wow, that's a big question. So I think what we have to know is that Sudan is so diverse, and you really can't categorize it into and put people into one box. It is a multitude of things. It is the fact that there are lots of different cultures in Sudan, different ethnic groups, and I think what brings everyone together is the fact that we need to kind of celebrate our diversity, and especially with what's been happening since 2019 with the revolution and kind of ongoing situation in Sudan. It really is about the resilience that people in Sudan have. Despite the circumstances, they are able to kind of come together and still have that solidarity, and that hope for a brighter future for Sudan. So I think that's definitely something I want people to know, the celebrating of the differences, and I guess the hope that we have for a better Sudan.
It's beautiful. I think so many people around the world are grappling with that now. Um, the amazing diversity of the countries that we live in, as well as trying to figure out what it looks like for all of us to get on the same page and row in the same direction towards a unified destiny and future. And so I'm thankful that you shared that, because I think it's important for our audience and people across the world to know that we're not as different sometimes as we think that we are. So, as you go there and work with these women, what has that experience taught you about them and their experiences, and what has it taught you about yourself?
Well, it's taught me perseverance. I mean, running the program since 2013 up until now is definitely not easy, but I think seeing the impact that the program has been so rewarding. So seeing a mentee who, because I'm involved right from the kind of recruitment stage up until when they graduate, and also the workshops that they have every month. So I think seeing that change in them, and seeing a young woman who is maybe really shy in the beginning in the interview and can't really express herself well, and is a bit lost in terms of her journey and where she's going, and then seeing her progress through the program, being more confident, developing her skills, and really being kind of close to her mentor, and then being confident enough to actually do a speech at a graduation ceremony and talk about her experience and how the program has really helped shape her, I think has really impacted me a lot in terms of me thinking about the next steps for the program, planning ahead, thinking how we can enhance the program to really make it the best experience for everyone who's there. So I've really kind of learnt patience, I guess, and perseverance of the fact that when you start something, it's really about the small, consistent steps that I think you've mentioned before, Brandy, like small steps to really go on your way to achieving things. And that's definitely something that I've learned. I've learned from them, from the experience.
That's phenomenal, because that consistency will take you farther than you even think those small steps will take you. Um, as you just continue to put one foot behind the other or in front of the other along your path. So that's great. I listened to you interview some amazing women in this series called Aspire to Inspire. What was the impetus for creating that?
I think the emphasis was really how do we encourage and inspire Sudanese women. The whole part of the program is really about having role models and successful Sudanese women and also African women that these women can then look up to and say, well, if they can do it, why not me? If they are inspiring, I can also follow my passion and accomplish things. And a friend of mine who is a keen supporter of ASM was like, well, this is an idea and this is something that you can really push forward, and it can be a platform for successful women to showcase all the things that they've done. And I think also the diversity that we bring. So we've interviewed broadcasters, Zainab Badawi, Niamh Bagher, who is in journalism and reporting, and it's been amazing. And also Dr. Jackie, who's founder of the African Leadership Institute, and Leila Bulhila, a renowned author. I think bringing all those diverse women and showcasing really how they've all had their unique journeys and how they've all been able to really push forward and accomplish amazing things is something that I wanted to kind of bring to the table, that you can be anything that you want to be. You don't have to just be pigeonholed just because of society or various kind of pressures upon you.
I watched part of the session that you did with Zeneb, and I was blown away, first of all, that you interviewed her, because I have been watching her series on Africa and various countries in Africa and the history and things that we should know, just enthralled by all of the information that we don't have here in the States about Africa, and how important it is to feel a sense of belonging and place in the world. And so when I saw that you interviewed her, I promise you, I almost fell on the floor. I would have told you that, but I was like, I'm going to save it and we're going to talk about this during the interview because I don't know that we as women realize our impact to others, when we do things. You have created this mentoring program for women in Sudan, and I don't know if you even realize really the impact that you're making with them or the opportunity that some of us who can just, log on to YouTube have to be able to meet some of these amazing women in the continent of Africa that you have access to. It's unreal. So I want to congratulate you for it, but also ask you, do you ever think about that contribution and how what you're doing impacts others?
It's really strange. So I mean, the with the series and me even thinking about contacting these women, I was like, well, they may not reply, And then I was like, when they did reply, I was just like so excited, and I was literally jumping up and down. And I was like, "Hey, everyone! Like Zainab Badawi, like I'm gonna be interviewing her." It was just incredible. So I think sometimes you just I don't want to say underestimate, but you don't realize like this the organization that I've created now can bring people together, can bring supporters from, as you mentioned, across the continent, across the globe that do have that reach. So I think sometimes it doesn't really hit you because I think you're just still like carrying on with things like business as usual. And as soon as we have that win or that celebration of, oh wow, Zainab's going to be speaking, or we've just done a graduation, or some really exciting things are happening, and the women are benefiting from the program. But then there's always so much more to be done, and I think sometimes that's what I get in the habit of doing. Like, okay, there's like 101 things on the to-do list, so let's crack on with those, as opposed to kind of sitting and reflecting about the real impact that the program is having. And I know I should be doing more of that as well.
Yeah, because you're creating just a magnificent legacy that women will be able to look to and emulate and improve upon. One of the things that I just learned from one of my teachers is that when you teach a student, you give them all that you have to give them so that they can take that learning even further and share it in a way that you never could with people who they will then teach. And so what you're doing is phenomenal, and please do think about it from time to time because I just think it's amazing. So the other area of thought could be around how these experiences have really allowed you to grow as a leader and a woman, and that's what this show is all about. And so I'm curious if there are any reflections that you feel comfortable enough sharing with the audience about how you've grown from doing this work.
For sure, definitely. So I think I've definitely gone out of my comfort zone. It was so in the beginning creating the program, and then having to then go to Sudan and communicate with so many different people as a way of telling them about the program was in the beginning a bit challenging because they had no idea what the program was, and I essentially had to say, well, this is the program, please be mentee, please be mentor, you're going to have a great experience, and it's going to be a great journey for you. So I think pushing myself, so I am out of my comfort zone, was challenging in the beginning, but I was able to do that. And then I think what I mentioned before in terms of the perseverance and the consistency as well of year on year thinking about the program and thinking about how can we grow and develop, how can we make the recruitment process a bit better, how can we ensure that the workshops that we run every month have the best speakers, that mentees have a great experience. and everything runs smoothly. So I think it's also about problem solving, which I've had to be able to deal with, and just being flexible. So I think having a program in Sudan with all the challenges, with the situation at the moment, with COVID and 2020, we were really able to kind of think about all the different problems and just be able to make the program kind of adapt to the various situations. And I think that's something that I've definitely learnt, that every year the program has to run. So how do we make sure that it runs even though the environment isn't always helpful to the program running in the way that we want it to? And I think as a leader, it is about that flexibility that you have and that adaptability to adapt to different situations, knowing that end goal of we need to have this program running so that these young women benefit and change lives and make an impact. And that's why there hasn't been a year when we've said, okay, we can't run the program. COVID was a bit tricky, but we were able to run it as well and just make it completely online. And that's something that I would say to people as well, thinking about doing their own business or their own program, is that once you have an idea and you completely believe in it, it's really about pushing forward and that persistence to keep going. Because when there's a day where it's really challenging or really tough, I just think about the women that will graduate from the program that will then stand up and say, well, I've learned how to do my CV now. I know my career goals. I've applied to this program now because of the things I've learned through ASM. So that's really what gets me through.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, we are so proud of all that you are doing. But I'm curious, within all that we've learned from COVID and all of the things that we've experienced recently, do you see any changes to how you deliver programming to the individuals that you serve moving forward?
Well, I think now things are opening up a little bit. So with 2020, the program was completely online. Now, this is coming to the end of the 2021 program. We started a little bit later, but we are going to have face-to-face sessions now, just bearing in mind the various precautions that we can take. But I do feel it is important for people to connect with one another now on a face-to-face level. I think that really changes things a lot, especially for the mentees, who are then going to be interacting with one another, who are then going to be face-to-face with speakers, and they can ask questions, and just being in a space with other women. And yeah, I think it's important to really be in a space with people and interact and ask questions and have really engaging discussions. That although you can do that over Zoom and online, it's always nice when you're face to face with people, I think.
Yeah, it is. It is. So, what is next for you? What do you have going on that we should know about and follow?
Well, there's quite a few things, Randy. What do you want me to list?
Hey, you can tell us as many things as you would like for us
So,
to be involved in.
so what is next? We have great. So we are launching a campaign very soon. So this campaign is really raising awareness for ASM and what we're doing. So we just encourage people to click on our website, follow us on all our social media pages. We're going to be sharing videos of mentees sharing their stories and mentors as well. And we just encourage people to be part of our community, follow our stories, and we have some exciting things in the pipeline.
So, tell me that website real quick.
Yep. So www.elsudaniya So it's ALSUDANIYA mentoring.org. And through there you can find all our social media pages as well. Some exciting things that we hope to do in the future is definitely launch a few more programs for women in Sudan. So our aim is really sustainability. really want the program to be sustainable so that we can launch another 2 programs. So one for high school students and one for those ages over the age of 22. So our main program is 17 to 22. So that's really our aim. And we just hope to do more events, more workshops, enhance the program in so many different ways, and be able to promote ASM wherever we are. So that's really the aim, and just want people to follow our stories.
That is lovely. So, what resources or books, quotes, what inspires you and keeps you going as you're delivering all of this value for other people? You don't have to give me all of them, but what is it that keeps you fueled up to do this work?
Wow, this that's a question. So I think it's just the things that I try to do on a daily basis. So, for example, meditation. So I'm recently getting into that, and I think that just gives me a lot of perspective and keeps me in a really calm place. So I would really suggest Headspace, the Headspace application. I would really recommend that. And with regards to resources, I read a bit of African literature, so I think that that also keeps me going as well, and just some positive quotes that I read, and also She Leads Africa is a great account to follow on Instagram. So whenever I just look at their accounts, that really does fuel me up, because everything they say is just so motivational and so empowering, and they share some great things on there. There's also a podcast called Therapy for Black Girls, which I've recently started listening to, and it's amazing. It talks about relationships with like friends, family. Talks about self care, self love, mental health. So I think that's definitely a great resource. So yeah, there's a lot of things out there, but I think it's really important for people to kind of stay grounded and focus on the things that really bring them joy. So, and I think that was something we mentioned in the during the fellowship with yeah, with the coaching pod. So I think that's really important. So focusing on things that bring you joy as well as the work element, because if you're not completely filled up, you can't pour from an empty cup. So I think I've really learned the value and importance of that, I think, over the years, because no one wants to lead to burnout. So
Nice. So, since you brought it up, can you tell us just a little bit about the fellowship and how it was helpful to you?
it has been incredible. So I'm still on the fellowship, which I'm really happy about. So we started, I think, in September, and it's really a huge network of incredible women. We get paired with global advisors, and we have a coach, Brandi, the best coach ever. So we have a coach that we meet once a month, and we have a coaching pod. And I just think it's a whole network that has really exposed me to so much, and everyone is so supportive and inspiring. And being part of such an amazing community where everyone is just helping everyone else is is amazing to be part of. So being part of the WhatsApp group where everyone is sharing what they're doing, and everyone is just like, "Hey, that's amazing. You've done this, you've done that." So I think it's really invaluable. I've learned so much from so many people. I'm always on calls now, speaking to as many people as I can on the fellowship, and just learning from people. And I think it's really taking ASM to the next level, working with my global advisors to really work on the fundraising plan, sustainability plan, and on all the things that I have in mind for where ASM should be. I think would have been hard to kind of do that without the fellowship and without the huge resource and network that the fellowship provides.
That's wonderful. And I thank you for sharing about how women lead and the wonderful fellowship where I met you and so many other just phenomenal women. And just for the audience to know, like I am just super fond of May and all that she does, and all of her presence and understanding and care for other people that she brings into every space that she walks into. And so I'm thrilled that you were here with us today, sharing a little bit about what you do and how you have grown through that work. So thank you so much for joining us today on the Operation Growth Show. And to all of you, thank you so much for continuing to watch our show. And remember, personal development is a way of life, and it's a way of life for me. And I'm pretty sure it is also for May. So we have shared a little bit of our growth, and we hope that our growth helps you. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next week on the Operation Growth Show.